Hey y'all, want to learn how to make some Southern cathead biscuits from scratch? Well, you're about to learn how. First of all, you want to preheat your oven to 500 degrees and make sure that your rack is on the top or the second from the top position in your oven. I am using a Pampered Chef stoneware pan, but any pan would do, including a flat pan with no sides. This is well seasoned and well loved and is my go-to biscuit pan. Now, buttermilk is not something I always keep on hand, so when I buy it, I portion it out into 1 cup servings, putting it in sandwich bags and freezing it in my freezer so I'm always ready to go. Then I just thaw it in a bowl of warm water. In my pantry, I keep a Tupperware pan of White Lily self-rising flour, and I will make my biscuits in this bowl of flour. I do not roll them out or cut them, and when I'm through, this pan of flour will be left perfectly clean. Now, these gloves are the trick. You're going to want to put 2 pair on at the same time, and you'll see why. This is going to allow you to make the biscuits and then take 1 pair off, putting your pan in the oven to cook without having to wash your hands. It's pretty cool. Now, just in case, I do use a sifter, and I go through the top layer of the flour to make sure that there are no hard bits of dough that were left in here from the last time that I made biscuits. Usually there might be a couple little crumbs. I just do this as a precautionary matter because you don't want to crunch down on, hard batter that's dried out. Now you're going to use your hand and make a well in the bottom of your flour container, not all the way to the bottom, but make sure that it looks like a bowl. You could even take a bowl and kind of press it in there to get the bowl shape. And we're now going to measure our shortening. We're going to use a rounded 1/3 cup of shortening. Very important, heaping or rounded. You'll see here how I do that. Then using your gloved hand, just get the shortening out and put it right down in this well that you've made in your self-rising flour. Then you're going to take your buttermilk. I don't have the buttermilk container because, again, I used frozen buttermilk that I thawed out. So you're going to take a 1 cup measurer and measure your 1 cup of buttermilk. Pour this right into the flour, into the well. Now, using your gloved hand, you're going to squish it. Just squish, squish the shortening. It's okay if you pick up some flour while you're doing this, but this is really just to break apart the shortening. Now, I'm going to turn my bowl at the same time that I incorporate and mix this buttermilk and shortening and flour together. As I'm turning the bowl, I am just with my fingertips incorporating a little bit of flour from the bottom and the sides of my Tupperware bowl. You don't want to mix in a whole bunch of flour, gobs and gobs at a time, pulling from the side. But as you turn your bowl, this wet mixture is of course going to bring in dry flour that sticks to it from the side. And you're just going to kind of turn your hand over a little bit, folding it. Fold it over. What do you mean fold it over? I mean just fold it in. I'm folding in the flour. This is what you do. This is how you fold it in. So we're going to continue to do this. I've got it slowed way down because this is the most important part of biscuit making right here. Remember, your pan is in the oven at 500 degrees. It is preheating. So when we start portioning out our biscuits, we're going to be putting those onto a very hot surface. So have you a hot pad ready. Now we're turning our bowl. We're folding in the flour. I'm stopping here to clean off my hands a little bit. Trust me, I learned the hard way. You want to wear the gloves. So much easier to clean up. You can see the mixture starting to get a little bit doughy. And what we're looking for is a consistency that we think with both hands we can reach in and flip all of this dough over and it's going to stay together. We don't want it any more dry than that. We don't want it falling apart and wet. It looks here like we're getting close, right? It's sticking in a ball. Boom. That's what we want. We just want it to stick together and flip over once. I'm going to take off my first pair of gloves, my top pair of gloves. So now I have, quote, clean hands. And I'm going to now go using my hot pad, don't forget, and get my pan out of the 500 degree oven. This is a very, very, very hot pan. So usually when I make biscuits, my heaping 1/3 of shortening and my 1 cup of buttermilk makes me about 7 biscuits. Remember, they're called cathead because they're about the size of a cat's head. We're not rolling these out. We're not rolling them in our hands. We're not cutting them out with a cookie cutter. We're just reaching in, taking a little scoop in our hand that's about the size of our palm, very gently maybe patting it. You can see here just kind of tossing it. We're not compressing it. And we're going to put it in this hot pan. They don't need to be touching as they spread a little bit as they bake. They will touch each other and the sides will get good and crispy, and so will the bottom, and the top and the inside is going to be just so yummy. Now, in my oven at 500 degrees with this particular pan, my biscuits are ready in 23 minutes. I would suggest that you start with 18 minutes. Again, you're at either the very top rack or the second from the, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm just gonna put the lid on that and put it back in my pantry. That's how I store it. All right, top rack of the oven or second from the top, 500 degrees. Look, my hands are all clean. I don't even have to wash them. Putting these back in the oven, and I'm gonna set a 23-minute timer. I would suggest you start about 18 minutes and check it at 18 minutes and see how done they are, because I don't want you to burn them, all right? So I'm gonna set my timer here for 23 minutes, and then we're gonna come back and check them, and I can tell you that they're gonna be perfect because I make these all the time. So start with 18 minutes and see how you do, and look, this is what they should look like. These are perfect, super easy to make, 3 ingredients, and they are delicious. I highly recommend that you eat it while they're hot. Watch this. Watch this. Oh, get ready. Oh my goodness, look at that. Perfection. Beautiful. Delicious. And I'm going to slather some butter right on top and take the first bite. They're so, so good. I promise you. These are a crowd pleaser. You can make them on a cookie sheet and make, several batches if you want. But I find that this, 1/3 cup of shortening to 1 cup of buttermilk makes me 7 biscuits, which is more than enough for us to have for dinner and then maybe again for breakfast in the morning. Absolute perfection. Delicious. Do it and let me know what you think about it. Happy cooking, y'all.